Best industrial commercial layout. So you're evaluating your city based on how it integrates your industrial areas and commercial areas into the infrastructure.
So for our city of Waterwalla, it's mainly powered by the waterfall. So from that, it's split into the river split into the city into 3 different districts. And from those districts, we have all different areas. So these rivers, the smaller rivers, they separate the area. So most of the industrial buildings, the bigger ones like the energy conversion and the cricket farms, we are using crickets because they're a low form of carbon emissions. Our plan is to have 0 carbon emissions. So we have industrial buildings all over, and they're mainly split up by the district.
And then we have like residential and commercial in every district. We have residential and commercial buildings. We try to make them as even as possible. So then, like, if you're living here, you have a place to go to like get food or something like that.
So I'm sorry, the commercial software
Commercials are all the yellow.
and residential.
I have
I would like to say we put our residential buildings in kind of the middle of the commercial and industrial areas because then people can still go to their jobs, they can still go to the grocery store, but all kind of still being in the same area from their home. So you don't have to travel, like say you lived here and had to go work over there. You wouldn't have like a 30-40 minute commute because everything would kind of be right there in your district where you needed it.
and in our residential buildings, they're mostly like hotels, so and apartments, and they each apartment can fit multiple people, and
Any one of these 3. Yes.
hundreds of people. So we can have like very space efficient while also packing a lot of people.
And for the infrastructure of our industrial buildings, I think we like mainly try to do also mainly symmetrical and very geometric city. So all of our buildings, like these electrical buildings, will supply energy to all of these, and we will go the same way. Yep. Or districts, we like to have.
Yeah, I like your district concept. Did you come up with titles for your districts or just district?
It's just in one district too.
Can you tell us a little bit more about these pads? What are these? Oh, these are our vertical industrial crop towers. So instead, yes,
And the name.
or VICs. So instead of having to have a rural area, we took what we needed from the rural area, which is food production, plant production, and transport it into a more urban setting. So here with these, we save space and still utilize all we need to from an otherwise expensive and large area of land that we can instead use to build new schools, new hospitals, and more futuristic technologies. Lovely.
So basically, instead of having fields and fields and fields of all crops, we took them and the 16 different types of crops we need, made them in big towers for production. And they're near the river, so it has a good water source.
And the crickets are your proteins.
Yes.
Any kind of bugs, not just
Mealworm,
because
black soldier fly.
because they're a
just
very,
like protein.
very good source of protein.
Those are the bugs that are commonly grown with protein. Black soldier fly larvae.
As weird as it sounds, crickets are a very good source of protein, and there's a very low cost, very sustainable, and produces 0 carbon.
Am I allowed to eat the fish in the river, or are we only eating bugs? There are fishing licenses, kind of similar to Minnesota. You have to have a license to fish, and there are some fish you can eat, but some fish are on kind of like a catch-only list to help preserve them and keep that ecosystem in the river flourishing.
And mostly, instead of fishing in the river, since our ocean is right there, we will ask them to maybe go fishing.
In the Pacific Ocean.
And I would like to add, especially with crickets, we chose that instead cows produce a lot of carbon emissions, and they also require a lot of energy to produce and keep healthy for not very much gain.
You have to process all the meat, and you have to use a lot of energy for that. And instead, we can just like grow hogs that are healthy and produce protein, and that's a very sustainable and more reliable way of eating.
Because we'd rather power the city and all our industrial buildings than focusing on just a type of meat that is bad for the environment.
I love it. Great explanation.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Yes. The processing. Can you speak to us a little bit more about what the experience will be like for our residential units within the district? What it'll be like for them to pass through the various commercial and industrial zones. So tell us, like if you're walking to work, what are you going to see and what are you going to experience on your way to work?
Well, I would say, just because you talked about walking to work, our transportation, we have 0 cars, buses, that because they are very bad for carbon emissions, we only have it like police, ambulances. So we have water gondolas, so they are solar panel boats, it's like a bus in the water. So you can go from any place to any place along the city, and they're inspired from Venice.
And say like you need to get from there to there and there's no water gondola that can get to there. We have like a lot of electric bikes or like mostly like bikes and stuff. These bikes are like they're definitely not slow, but they do not power any carbon emissions, so it's a way of just like getting there faster instead of walking.
And it's a good way to stay in fit. Yep.
And say you had, instead of having your job in one of the nearer districts, say you live here, had to come all the way over here. We have this electric monorail that can quickly and easily take you to where you need to go. So say the water gondolas just don't take you to where you need to go. Or maybe you're afraid of water, like you get seasick. You can take the train instead.
The train is fully electric and is powered by magnets, so it produces 0 carbon emissions, just like our entire city, and it is insanely fast.
And these are elevators to get up here, and then there's like a waiting spot, and you get picked up.
So, what was your guys' favorite part?
We liked building the waterfall a lot just because it was like the big aspect of our city. We also had a lot of fun time painting things like Alan can put it there.
Very talented.
Yeah. And I feel like just seeing it all come together was really rewarding.
I would say, me personally, one of my favorite parts were probably the water wheels. We designed these, so these are a moving part. And also, all of our industrial buildings, if you can't tell, they're 3D printed. So I designed them, and then we 3D printed them at our schools.
Yeah, and I like making these solar panels. We just colored them in blue and like black lines on them. And then we were originally gonna like put something under them so they would stay up. But then I was like, maybe if we just hot glue them sideways, they'll stay. So then we did that, and no, we don't have to have underdo under them. And that felt good.
That's
Good
all.
understanding.
My favorite part was making the VICTs. I had a lot of fun gluing the kind of plastic egg carton thingies together and then stuffing them with the big moss. But everyone had a different part in making the city. And I mean, I was in charge of making these, and we all came together for the waterfall because it was
Just like our engineers, our civil, industrial, hydro, electric, and mechanical, we all came together to build different aspects of the waterfall. If it's moving parts, the main infrastructure, or the cranes in there.
City building takes time. Good job.
Thank you.
Have fun. How many of these little presentations have you done?
I think
a lot.
6.
6?
Yes.
All right, good. You got your
Maybe
spiel
5.
down.